Okay, so I'm just leaving my house, and you'll notice I'm going around the park here. It's on my way out of here, but the one thing you're gonna notice is people just sitting and waiting in cars with lights on. They're not, I pulled to the side of the road and my lights are on and then I'm gonna park my car. They intentionally leave the lights on in case I drive by. And normally what happens is, for example, let's say I walk to the park or I drive to the park and I just kind of pull over, and maybe I want to sit on the park bench, get some fresh air or something, which they spent over 15 years with this policy that Kevin Perlman is not allowed at a park or anywhere else in the world, with mass armies showing up with their paranoid schizophrenia tactics. So what happens is if I go to the park and there's no cars without lights on, you'll instantly see people show up at the park and sit with their lights on for hours. Like, here's one right here. He wasn't here a few seconds ago. Also, the other things you'll see is people will pull up and wait where I'm sitting, just kind of watching me, trying to thug and intimidate me, and things like this, right? So here we have a pickup, a red pickup, lights on. The other thing is groups of red cars is one of their tactics, and look, I don't think anyone's in it either. So it's one of the guys, he went to the park. Oh, and we have another one. So when I just drove around here the first time, oh no, these are actually normal people getting out. When I first came around here, nobody was waiting with their lights on, and and see, I'm doing another lap. So we have two of them at least, right? And the other thing is, when I first came here, nobody was walking dogs, so a lot of times they go, Kevin just got to the park, everyone come out with their dogs, trying to get reactions and make me look like a schizophrenic. But you'll see that this guy is just sitting with his lights on. He's not parking, right? And he's with, looks like he's with a girl. So when I got here, he was actually here with his lights on, but remember, they wait for me in case I show up here or wherever else. Notify, do these things, so if Kevin sees you, they're exerting the tactics told to do, the pattern tactics. Example, at coffee shops, if you see Kevin, put your feet up on a chair, put one foot up on a chair to provoke Kevin, because they already know who I am when I arrive, and then do these provoking, passive-aggressive provoking behaviors and go, I don't know this guy, he just showed up, some crazy guy, right? In hopes that they can get that reaction from their passive-aggressive terror tactics. So that guy moved, but now there's two cars. Once again, you have to understand the whole concept of creating paranoia is to do these things. So if 100 people an hour are doing these things to you, if 100 people an hour are doing these things to you and 20 of them are just random people doing the same things, the reasoning is to create paranoia. And while I've talked to several lying therapists, they always play the same game, how you can't control people, so just accept and ignore these hundreds to thousands to 100,000 to 1 million people per day doing these things to you, which keep exponentially getting larger and larger, because nobody thinks it's wrong to hunt down, torture, kill someone, rid them of the world, when it comes to Kevin Perlman. But the point is that if 80 people out of 100 are trying to make me mentally ill and remove me from society, then the focus shouldn't be, well, you might act out on one of those 20 that aren't. The focus should be on the angry mobs trying to kill you. So I got to this park. There was one car with lights on. It looked like there's about 3 or 4 that showed up, and a few random people that get caught in the mix of the inventory, so to speak, right? You can't tell the difference because they're paranoid schizophrenia tactics. And so that's the point. Now look, we also have 2 pickup trucks, right? Oh, I think these were here yesterday. The 2 pickup trucks together. Another tactic is you'll notice the car is backwards here in the corner, and then right here, if you can see it, I don't know if you can, there is a car in the corner backwards as well, in 2s, right? So, and we got 1 pickup, 2 pickup, right? Oh, and then we have the 2 red cars together. So this red car moved to where this Mini Cooper is. So you got 2 cars there, 2 red cars together, 2 pickups fairly close to each other. You got those 2 cars backwards in the corner, and it's usually a lot worse. This guy here, he's waiting behind my car, probably just a random, just some guy. Well, interesting, he was waiting behind my car, my other car, and now he's parking. Why didn't he just park to begin with, right? Maybe something, maybe not. I'd have to look at the car if it doesn't have plates, or it's one of the pattern behavior cars, like if they pulled up 2 Camrys like they do and things like that over there. So I'm gonna do one more loop around the park, which when I got there were no dog walkers and 1 car with lights on, and instantly within 10 minutes you start to see people coming out. Let's see if they're ramping up their attacks or not. So you'll notice I'm on like the 3rd lap around here. This guy's still sitting in the car with the lights on. Oh, okay, and so there's 2 pickup trucks here. Ooh, let's see. There's 2 pickup trucks there. There's this guy with the lights on. Usually if you walk down the street, there's like cars and 2s all down the street, like 2 Camrys, 2 Priuses, 2 this, 2 that, and then usually they pull mass groups, sometimes 15, 20 cars, no license plates. And I'm not going to tell you that people don't pull to the side of the road with their lights on. They do, but it was like what I was saying before. This is strategic to actually create paranoia with full psychology community support, to then go, he's crazy and we're going to put him on meds, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that, or we're going to put him on in jail, or this or that, right? And so the point is that people don't generally follow people around, especially in worldwide groups, manipulating situations to get what they want, because that's known as setups, frame jobs, whatever. So now he finally turned off his lights. Interesting. Before there used to be like 5 or 6 Jeep Cherokees right at this intersection here. Now they're gone. Today actually looks like it's waned a lot as far as the amount of people doing these freaky things. For example, I showed you on the street yesterday these 2 white pickup trucks. You'll notice there was a car parked in between them yesterday, right? Well, today they're together, showing that they're exerting energy right here. See, they're back together now. Remember yesterday there was a car in between them, and then there's a black one getting as close as possible. Because they're exerting their energy to get as close as they can together. Showing that no matter what happens, they will always try to get their trucks one in front of the other, showing a pattern of behavior that is not normal, and it's not 2 random people or 1 person. It is worldwide groups and citywide groups, and the more I'm around them, the more the more they amp up their attacks, showing that it's personal. And when they start mimicking my conversations back to me to my face and things like that over and over from person to person, then you know it's directed at you. So now we're coming back to the cul-de-sac where I live, and this is the Met Complex. Oh, and this is a guy, let's see, this guy was sort of waiting backwards with his lights on, but it looks like the guy that was parked backwards, so he was just getting in his truck. Now we also have a security guard that's come out trying to, we're watching you type of thing. You know, walking down the public street, not hanging out inside the complex. And I'm not saying that security guards aren't allowed to do that, but when they do it with the intent to stir up shit, especially directed at me, because they don't want me talking about the 40-year crimes they're involved in against me, that's a whole other issue. Putting me in self-defense. And you might want to notice the amount of pickups here. So there's 4 pickups from that corner to here. Here's a 5th pickup right here. Right now, the more I'm outside my house, the more I document what's going on, the more I tell people what's going on, the more people they use to ramp up these attacks, to try to create mental illness, to remove me from society, with the argument, well, you have a problem because, well, you didn't go straight home, or you didn't go from point A to point B, right? And people don't think like that. People don't tell you if you go to work at an office, you have to go straight home afterwards, or these things are going to be done to you. Now this, what is this? Oh, this BMW is interesting. I think this is the same. No, this is a different girl. And notice she's just sitting in the car looking at her phone with the lights on, right? So you'll notice that if I were to instantly come out of my house, none of these things, or these things would be minimal, but they are instantly notified through SMS, email systems, internet tools. Oh, Kevin Perlman left his house. Do these things, right? Basically, the statement is what? It's, you don't leave your house, right? And if you leave your house, we're going to do these things. And if you even order food to your house, we're going to have the delivery people attack you in an anger rage. And same with the website company and this and that, stopping you from eating food. Well, okay, why would I not even though this one argument by Christina Vescovo doesn't make any sense, well, you're paranoid schizo, so you're not allowed to leave your house, is the same thing as convicting people and throwing them in jail. But because that's not true. If someone has mental illness, they're allowed to leave their house, and I don't. But whether I did or not, it's irrelevant. But then, if that's their argument, why would I not be allowed to order food to my house, right? Now you're saying you're not allowed to eat food. So you're not allowed to leave your house or eat food, right? Well, if you're not allowed to leave your house or eat food, what's the motive? Well, the motive is to just rid you of the world, no matter what it takes. Get you to starve in your house, get you to kill yourself. Here's a car backwards with his lights on over there. Usually this lot is filled with pairs of either cars backwards or no plates. And by the way, the police are friends with the Persians that own the gas station and are here almost every night, being social. Like, for example, we have a car backwards here, and one of the things, well, this is probably nothing, but one of the things that were done to me is 2 cop cars pulled up to Golden State Sports Medical, where I was working at the time, with bike racks both on them, directed at me. So you'll notice here, 2 cars without plates, 2 white cars without plates, and 1 car backwards, and obviously directed at me, and so you get the idea. It's just about ridding someone of the world. That is what it is about. Right? Their argument changes on a daily basis. The reasons why they're stalking and hunting me. Now you notice these pickups. There was a pickup back there backwards. There's a pickup here backwards. These lots are completely empty, or almost empty, and there's pickups backwards. Now, when daylight comes and these streets are crowded, you're gonna see thousands and thousands of cars every mile backwards, but the reason they're all parked backwards isn't because that's normal behavior. They're doing it directed at me. See, there's 1 car here, 1 van here backwards. I'll drive to the TGIF lot where someone's looks like they're waiting in it backwards with their lights on. One of the tactics directed at me. So once again, we have this girl. She's still sitting in this car over here with her lights on, just staring at her phone, directed at me. So now I will go into this lot. So you see her, she's right here. She's just sitting there waiting for me and hope she can get me to react and do something to her. Now we're going into the TGIF Fridays lot. Notice we have 2 cars backwards together when most of these cars are forward, but a lot of them are still backwards. We got 3 backwards here. We have this guy, no plate, which could just be a guy with no plate, but yeah, right. Once again, no, just a car backward, but they park cars backwards in the same spot each day. The ones that are easier to prove are the ones in like 2s. Those are the ones that, right, statistically can't happen, and it's just easy to say, look, you know, what's making pairs of cars in 2s do this over and over, right, wherever I go. Okay, and so right here, right, notice that all these cars in this row are forward. and then right here, 2 together backwards, and then all those forward, right? Well, the fact that I have like 100,000 pictures like that, from parking lot to parking lot says what, right? Why are people migrating from spot to spot towards each other to park backwards in pairs, right? What's doing that? Some of the other things they've done, like maybe I go out downtown LA to go see a lawyer, and they take 2 cars next to each other and they put the wipers straight up, right? Things like that. Right, now that girl actually looked kind of normal because she just looked like she was pulling to the curb. So now I'm gonna do 1 loop around the park, 1 more loop around the park, and then I'm going to get some food for me and some cat food for my cat. The guy in the red pickup, or the guy that had left his pickup lights on, finally turned them off while I think I looked like someone was walking around the park, which was probably him. Just from a distance, that guy, it's been what, 30 minutes, 20 minutes, still is sitting with his lights on, right? There are some random people just probably parking at the park with their lights on. And the forever taking light, long taking light. I'm gonna stop this until I get over there. Okay, so this guy is still here, I think. Also, they used to have last month for years cars with covers right here, like 5 or 6 of them all together with car covers on them. So this guy's still here, right, with the girl he's with, and right, lights on, yeah, so they had groups of cars with car covers over there, which I have photos of. Right, and my point before was the entire reasoning with the psychology community to tell me that 40 cars, or for example, if 80 okay, if 80 people out of 100 are following you around, stalking you to try to make you paranoid, make you mentally ill, do horrible things to you, right? Now we have another car, lights on. I can't tell you if that's intentional because I don't know how long he's gonna, no, see, it looks normal, although it is see, he was just pulling to the side parking, so he's normal. But what I was gonna say is, if the psychology community, and I've heard this from each and every one, also it looks like the dog walkers are ramping up. There are now 3, there's probably more. But if the psychology community, and you'll notice that went from like, I think like maybe 1, but sometimes it goes up 15, 20, 30. But if the psychology community is saying, well, it's okay for 80 people out of 100 to follow you around making you mentally ill, and that you need to do what we say because you can't control your surroundings, that's like saying to the Jews thrown in concentration camps or slaves being whipped that you can't control your surroundings, so accept picking cotton and being whipped, and you'll never be a free man, so just accept it, right? Well, nobody would tell you that unless the type of person that is a slave owner or like Adolf Hitler, right? So that's the point, and this goes from every psychologist out there, from one sequentially after the next in the psychology community, sitting there saying, you do what we say or we'll kill you. So I think, yeah, this is the same girl. So, right, she's still sitting there, just staring at her phone with the lights on, right? And now it looks like people with dogs are starting to come out in larger and larger groups. And right before I get food, I'm just going to see if people have now showed up, more of them in this gas station, which I've had all sorts of things happen, from the owners telling tow truck drivers they're not allowed to tow my car while people had slashed or emptied the tires right at that moment, going to take the stand on a trial, right, which they didn't want me going to. And I think it's just the let's see. No, it's just one car without plates. I thought there were two before. I'm not sure. But anyways, and if we want to stop off at the Fry's parking lot, there's probably some patterns of twos, as well as every other lot now worldwide, but directed at me, right? That's the point. Directed at me. Why has human behavior changed, especially when they're around Kevin Perlman? That's the question, right? If everyone's doing it, their argument is because everyone's doing it, it's normal. But why is everyone doing it? Why is this pattern of behavior revolving around me? That's the question, right? And it's not for me, I can tell you that. You know, it's because someone doesn't like me, and that's punishment to stop me from breathing. Let's see. While we have some cars backwards like usual, and one of the things they do is every time I buy something here, walking out the door, I'm harassed by the employee with cryptic messages, or all the employees, some way or the other. Like right now it's harder to prove because just random cars are backwards. It's a little more obvious because, like right here, like for example, look at these two cars, and not only are they parked backwards, and there's a third one over here, which look like employee cars, but they're both over, like, in the middle, right? They're both, where we go? Wait. They're both, halfway out of the spot, right? And so, once again, why did both of them do it and not just one person randomly parking how he wanted to park, right? If that makes sense. So like normally, hey, some guy, I don't park straight and that's it, right? Just like me parking backwards once in an Encino Starbucks. Well, that's the reason all these people are parked backwards, is because they didn't like Kevin Perlman, me, parking my spot once backwards. So now cars worldwide park backwards, directed at me in anger and rage to like guilt me to death, right? You exerted imperfect human behavior, so now we're going to guilt you to death and torture you until you're either dead or gone, or we get the coerced false confessions that we want, right? Just psychological warfare and torture tactics. Okay, so now I'm at Bevmo, or actually I was going to PetSmart to get food, but Bevmo is in the same lot. Now I want you to notice the patterns of cars backwards, especially right there. There are two more cars backwards, which I just got on video together. Why? Once again, together, right? and all sorts of things have been done to me in this lot. I mean, as well as every other place in the world. But I want to go through a couple of things. Okay, so we got these cars and twos here. We also have a backwards pickup, all white too, if you notice, right? So they're all kind of grouped whites backwards in this one spot here. Now, the one thing with liquor stores is that that I've had endless problems with my family and police and government's control issues. And for example, also I want you to notice the grays and blacks. There's just two here. There's a gray shirt, black pants here, gray, black there. Well, two cars together with lights on. Two more cars together in pairs backwards. PetSmart is closed, so I can't get food. But the one thing is, they play these games like, you're not allowed to go buy a 6-pack of beer because you're an alcoholic and you suffer from some disorder. Well, you'll keep drinking yourself to death. It's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Now the story behind PetSmart here is for 10, 15 years, every single time I've bought food for my cat, after I pay, they say, I think it's like enjoy or have a good, I think it's have a good one, over and over from person to person, from random person to random person, to try to provoke me into a situation. But not only that, one of the things, like maybe I'll show up and the parking lot will be mostly forward, and instantly as I walk out 15 minutes later, there'll be groups of cars with no plates on backwards, people waiting for me, trying to intimidate me, strangers coming in, trying to talk to me like my life's like theirs, and you just need to learn how to accept it, and weird freaky things like this, which, first off, nobody's life could be like mine, and if it was, the first thing they would say, even if it was a small group of people stalking them, is that being hunted, stalked, and killed is unacceptable, and that's not something someone tolerates, because being killed is not what people accept. They say that's unacceptable. Or rid of the world, or however you want to word it. Being killed, being exterminated, being locked away, being removed from society, whatever. The other thing is, if you walk out and you're seeing all these cars show up and people working on you with mental illness tactics within 15 minutes, that happens from place to place. That's mass groups following you and stalking you with hidden messages in a mass conspiracy to create mental illness and rid you of the world. And that has now, it's been 17 years of all day and night, 24/7 of that, meaning that they have their SMS and internet-based systems using their cell phones to an internet, NSA level internet data mining systems to keep tabs on everything I do, the most minute details, and use them, like Brian Weaver was hinting to me by hiring me for the pilot spy game, and then having people who are keeping tabs on everything I do hint about all aspects of my life to try to turn me into a violent paranoid schizo is doing, right? And so for 17 years, whether I go to a restaurant, I go to a coffee shop, I go get food for my cat, I will be met within 10-15 minutes of mass groups based on these being notified on their cell phones. This is where Kevin is. Everyone in blue cars show up today. Everyone who's already parking cars park backwards in twos. If you talk to them, mimic these same things, like in the last 6 months, people say man to me from person to person. Before that, it was hey. Before that, it was something else, right? Just trying to take something I've done and then terrorize and guilt me to death by mimicking it over and over and over, and each and every person going, I don't know you. And some people will walk up to me and ask me about my life or something, pretending they're curious, as if they don't know what's going on. And then when I'm done, they'll try to provoke me and go, okay, well, take care, man, right? Trying to mimic that passive-aggressive provoke, like I came up to you pretending to be nice, and now I'm provoking you after you exerted being friendly to the guy and exerting huge amounts of pain from being tortured. Now, once again, we got, right, all these cars, right? Look, all these cars are forwards and then 3 backwards together, right? Right? Not random, but in pairs, or in this case, 3s. Right? And so, this happens, this is everywhere worldwide. Talking to people on the internet, have a whole nother set of mental illness tactics, but this is out in public, and they'll play these games. Like the psychology community will say, well, you shouldn't be on the internet if this is happening on the internet. Or you shouldn't be at coffee shops if this is happening at coffee shops. Or you shouldn't go out in public if this is happening out in public. Or you shouldn't stay in your house because it's unhealthy, right? And they'll just go from thing to thing trying to drive you crazy until you're dead and gone. But at no point will anyone in the psychology community, police, or random people say, there's a worldwide campaign to kill this guy or exterminate him, eradicate him, rid him of the world, and that is wrong, right? And it needs to be addressed. What is going on, the whys it's going on, who's doing it, what their problem is, right? But at every point they go, well, just die Kevin, right? Now, remember, this starts at 5 years old. So really, they have no excuse. Okay, so now I am going to stop off at El Pollo Loco and just get some food. Usually, I haven't been here a long time, but usually there's cars in the lot backwards. Right now they all look forward, and if I go through the drive-thru and you see that they're starting to park backwards, you'll know that it's directed at me, showing a pattern of behavior directed around me, right? Not just random events, but directed at me. So for example, let's see if this guy parks backward. Oh, he's going to the drive-thru. So I'll do a loop around the lot really quick to show that they're all forwards, and then we can see if they change to backwards, right? Because what happens is they see my car and they go, Kevin's here, so now do these things, showing the change directed at me, the change of behavior directed at me, right? Now, I do have signs on my car now, but this was going on way before I had the signs on my car. So they try to turn things around, saying, well, people see your signs, so they're doing it because it's your behavior. This is from psychiatrists and psychologists. Okay, so why does he have his blinkers on? I don't know. But anyways, my point that I was getting to is, why would a psychiatrist or psychologist be concerned that someone has signs on his car saying these mass groups won't leave me alone, but they're not concerned about the mass groups taking turns on someone, refusing to leave them alone, right? Their behavior. Remember, the argument about behavior is supposed to be applied to everyone, not one person on the planet, being, Kevin, you do what we tell you, or it's your behavior, right? Okay, now we have random cars parked backwards here. Now, but when we go through where the drive-through is, everyone's forward, right? Now, people are going to assume that I'm going to El Pollo Loco because I used to go, just want to, you know, the habitual human behavior. And so I used to go randomly getting food at El Pollo Loco. And so if they see my car, they'll make the connection. Oh, this is where Kevin's going, and then they'll ramp up their attacks, knowing based on human patterns of behavior, this is where he's probably going, so do these things to him, right? People that see his car do it, people show up. Now, right now, I notice the amount of mass groups following me from place to place is significantly lower than usual, which is a good thing. Also notice most of this lot, by the way, right here is forward. Now, why? Where are we? DDS discounts. I don't even know what that is. He's backwards here. But why, when they normally park these cars backwards all over the place, is this one lot forwards, right? Although there is a good amount of cars without plates. I've seen 2 or 3, but they're all forwards, right? Why, if this lot here, I think that used to, I don't know what that was, a Rite Aid or something at one time. Why are all these cars forward, but if I drive through the rest of this lot, a lot of them are backwards, right? And then, yeah, you do have this guy here, he's backwards. And then over there, right, there's a lot higher rate of cars backwards. I couldn't specifically tell you why, but I can tell you that the people's behaviors are generally the same. For example, most people on this planet like pizza, right? And so the same argument is most people generally park forward in these spots until 2011, when I parked backwards once at an Encino Starbucks, and that's when this worldwide attack, you committed a crime by parking backwards, occurred. Anyways, I'm gonna order some food.
Would you like to try one of these similar products today?
No.
What may I get started for you?
How may I help you?
Hi, get a four-piece half combo.
Drink, can I drink?
Get a medium Coke.
Side order?
Yeah. Oh, corn and, oh, you have mac and cheese?
Yeah.
Mac and cheese and mashed potatoes.
Quarter five for 10.
Flour.
Alright.
Also 2 orders of churros.
Okay.
And
no, we don't have any churros.
Oh no. Okay. A chicken. Also a double chicken avocado salad.
Okay.
And what else do you have, like churro-y, sugary?
That's about it.
That's it.
Yep.
Okay, I guess that's it.
Okay, so the half chicken with the Coke, mac and cheese, mashed potato, 5 for 10, the double chicken avocado salad, it goes in $18.59 at the next one down.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. There you go. And cards for you. Yeah. Oh, cards for everyone.
Alright.
That's great.
How many pieces?
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so actually that's very rare. He was actually professional, he was kind, he wasn't throwing in the passive-aggressive harassment like they usually do after I get the food or whatever, the product, which is actually fairly rare because for 17 years, almost every single person I've been in contact with. Okay, so now we have, like I said, a car backwards, right? So this person here, right, parked their car backwards. You'll notice it was all forward, right? And if I come by in a half an hour, there'll probably be a lot more backwards. You'll notice something that I ordered 2 orders of churros, which generally come in 2s, so that'd be 4. And one of these people's problems worldwide is that I order, or whenever something happens in 2s, they go ballistic. So I also coincidentally ordered double avocado something, but had nothing to do with anything at all except me ordering food. But they don't like, just like I parked backwards once, they don't like anything that has to do with 2s. So for example, about 15 years ago, ordering food off Grubhub, sometimes, oh no, this starts way before Grubhub, at bars in the pool hall, Yankee Doodles, when I order like a beer or a drink or a scotch, I would give them like sometimes $1 tip, sometimes $2 tip, sometimes $3 tip. Maybe I order some hot wings, give them a couple $1 tip, you know, and it's random, right? Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 5, whatever. Sometimes, most of the time at restaurants, it's 15 to 20% gratuity. Anytime that number hits 2, there's worldwide campaigns to rid me of the world. Or 3, right? Or more. So for example, if I order some hot wings at a pool hall and give her a $2 tip, I will be met with worldwide groups stalking me, saying, with the hinting message that, you harassed the waitress by giving her a $2 tip, which doesn't make any sense. Then it's you harassed a waitress or a food delivery person because you gave them a $3 tip. Well, that doesn't make any sense, right? And in retaliation, the entire world, every service worker or anyone in the food industry will hunt me down trying to kill me, saying, well, you harassed this person because you gave them a $2 tip or something like that, right? Well, any sane, rational person is going to say that's beyond any level of insane. I mean, if I asked you, that person, if they had some kind of archive of every parking spot I've ever parked in worldwide, they would probably say yes, and ironically, that probably is the case with the NSA, right? That's my point, is that if the noose on you since 5 years old is so tight from your family, police, and government that blinking, farting, yawning, putting your feet on a chair, hugging a girl imperfectly launches worldwide campaigns to kill you, then you had no chance to begin with. You were a dead man from birth. Now, the real question is, why were you a dead man from birth or 5 years old? That's the question, right? What is it that my family's so mad about that they decided to somehow manage with their psychology degrees, police and government, to rid me of the world for no reason at all, based on things like, well, you yawned imperfectly or blinked imperfectly. Okay, so I'm at the Casa de Tacos These guys hate my guts. Notice we have a pickup here, no plates. A pickup there. Another gray pickup backwards here. So that's 3 pickups. A pickup, a 4th, or that's a white pickup, lights on. May or may not be something, but these guys hate my guts. Who knows why, like everyone else. So I come in here, I'm as nice as can be. Oh, is that another gray pickup? And I'll order food, and the guy will keep saying, friend, okay friend, yes friend, over and over, and then I'll go to, like, after I order food and eat, like the next day, I'll go to restaurants all over the world, and there'll be connected events with the employees here, and other restaurants, and strangers coming into other restaurants, stalking me, with these people. Of course, this happens from place to place worldwide, but my point is that, and there's a car backwards with Savage, there was a person with a 23 Savage shirt who followed me to the courthouse a couple days ago, working on me. So that was like 5 pickups, and then there's, okay, and now is this another, well, that's a car backwards, that's not a pickup. And then there's another black pickup here, and it looks like a guy might be waiting in it. No, he's getting food, but another black pickup here, backwards. So this is Tommy's Burger, and ironically across from Tommy's Burger is Michael's Burger, which I think is a little funny and ironic because at 16 when they took me to Kevin's Burgers with these operations to try to turn me into a paranoid schizo, we got Tommy's Burgers right here. Another thing they do is like kitty corner here, they always park like 2 cars, right? Now also, I think this entire lot is all forward. We got a girl without plates on that car, but these front 2 cars here are backwards. So notice once again the patterns of 2s. This entire lot is forward, 2 cars backwards. Tons of pickup trucks, almost everyone gray and 1 no plate. So that's actually 2 cars, no plates. And these 2, look, there's a couple in the car kind of just waiting. Oh, there is a 3rd car backwards. A couple in the car just waiting. And then we have these 2 pickups here together, and another car without plates, right? Now the first thing you might ask, like my other videos, is why all over the place does nobody have license plate frames or license plates? And why are there cars like this for like 6 months, a year, 2 years at a time when it only takes a month to get your plates, right? Okay, so now I want to do a little experiment, and I'm going to the Ralph's to get some cat food. There's a car backwards and one without plates, another Mercedes backwards. Wait, let's look at this. Okay, so we got a car here without plates. We got a truck here with no plates. If I drive down, I remember I'm just driving in a random place, right? Which means that people are told all over the world to do this. We got another car without plates. 2 pickups across, but that's probably just random. There's a lot of cars, and it used to be a lot worse, without plates. Now, but the experiment I want to do, first we have to drive by the Ralph's and see how many cars are parked forwards. And if most are parked forwards, then I want to document the rate of change after I leave, how many have parked backwards after this. Right, now we also have some weird security guard. I don't know what he's doing. So right now, in front of the Ralphs, I think I see one car backwards, right? It's the little deer, which is kind of cool. There's a guy waiting in it too. Oh, and there's a yellow car. The yellow cars, they use a lot. Now the question is, when I come out, and I do this experiment a lot, and almost every time it happens, when I exit the store, you're gonna see a lot higher amount of cars backwards and people waiting in the cars with their lights on. And so that's the experiment, so to speak. You know, how many people show up, or when they see my car, do they start parking backwards? So the majority of the lot, especially towards the Ralphs, is forward. And when you just heard a guy push his alarm button twice, the double honk, that is one of the tactics done to me. So if I would have to put a number on the cars backwards out towards the outer edges, that would be maybe 6. Let's say 6 cars are backwards. Now what I want to do, now we have our first car guy waiting with his lights on. I don't think he was there before, or actually he might be getting out of his car, but hard to say. But I'm gonna park fairly close to the Ralphs so they can see my car. I also don't see many no-platers here. So for example, the cars without, who have taken off their plates and put those dealer plates. Now the question is, when I come back out of the store, how many cars are backwards after that? Okay, so I'm parking my car, I'm behind the reindeer guy, and in a location where people can see my signs on my car, or just know that I'm here, and we will see the rate of change now that people know I'm here. I'm gonna walk in, I'm gonna buy some cat food, leave, and when I come out, probably 20 minutes, maybe less, the amount of cars, of people waiting with lights on, and more cars parked backwards. I can guarantee you that yellow, they do this yellow and black pattern, and that yellow car over there was definitely left by someone in case I ever show up here to buy food, right? And so usually there's a lot more of them together and things like that. But anyways, so that's what we're gonna do, and let's see what happens. Okay, so interesting enough, all these cars are forwards, like it used to be before 2011, which is actually a good thing, but it's bad in proving it. But you know, I'd rather it stop than have to run around with a camera proving it over and over. Now we do have this guy over here waiting with his lights on in a Mustang, I think, or something gray over there. The other thing I just noticed getting in my car is all the spit on my window. And you'll notice, I think from other videos, I think last night, a Coke on my window and things like this, because they don't want me talking and to try to thug me quiet. Things like spitting on my window and things like that is an intimidation tactic. And you just heard that guy hit the alarm button 3 times, I think. Although that one didn't really sound, that sounded like that might be how his alarm is. I'm not sure. But anyways, one of their tactics is to push their alarm button 2 or 3 times when they get out of their car or in their car. And I literally have one of the parking lots on Victory and Canoga where a gym is, the Jamba Juice, a Starbucks where they've had black people stalk me and try to egg mob me and just take turns because they're mad about me kissing a black girl at 8 years old, which doesn't really make much sense why they would remotely care, especially like 40 years later. But my point is that I was getting to is that the reason, or not the reason, but in that parking lot with like 5,000 cars, probably more like 10,000 cars, I literally have like an hour audio recording with probably like 500 people doing this to me as I walk through the lot. One person sequentially after the next. Why are they doing it? Well, they're doing it because one day, let me rephrase that. They're doing it worldwide because one day getting in my car or arming the alarm, one or the other, I accidentally pushed the alarm button more than once. And because I exerted, like everything else, imperfection in life, this same pattern of behavior done to me my entire life, but because I exerted insignificant, minimal imperfection, the entire planet was told, if they see me, anyone, push your alarm button once or twice. The same thing, I tapped my foot around Aubrey Fisher once, or there was a second time because I wasn't paying attention and she didn't like it the first time, and because I wasn't paying attention about something someone didn't like, and it happened again, worldwide for about 6 years, people were told to push the alarm or tap around me, tap their foot, tap their hands, coffee shop employees tap, you name it, and the same exact pattern of behavior. If Kevin blinks wrong, launch worldwide campaigns to kill him, right? Now remember that these things start at 5 years old and ramp up in what Brian Longbotham called their laundry list of things to supposedly clean me up by torturing and killing me with worldwide support on things that nobody would normally care less about, right? And you see this guy still waiting in his car. Now, this is like the first time in 15 years. Here's the guy, you see he's taking his plate off. It's kind of dark, but he's taking his plate off. All these cars are forwards. And that is rare. Once again, there's another guy. He honked twice, right? And so that is extremely rare that people aren't parking their cars backwards. Oh, we got one guy. So now we have a guy. He has shown up, right? Now if we look at the parking lot, right? One guy showed up with the I'm parking backwards with the lights on. Ironically, we've had now 3 people honk their alarm buttons or push their alarm buttons like 2 or 3 times. So that's 2 cars waiting backwards with lights on, or he's forwards but with his lights on towards me. And 3 people honking, pushing their alarm buttons, but ironically the car forwards, that changed. And so, why, like I said before, why are all these people doing this? Oh wait, we have another person who has left their parking lights on. So the question is, why do they start parking their cars backwards like this? Well, just like the other things, I parked my car backwards once in Encino Starbucks, and the punishment, another car without plates, and I'm sure, and there's the pickup. So we got a pickup here, no plates, whatever that is, no plates. This car, no plates. So just off the top of my head, in like 2 minutes time, I think that's 4 cars without plates. We got this car, here's a 5th, right? We got a Lexus, I think, a red Lexus, no plates, right? Right, and so that's at least, what? Oh, there's a red car here, a red Civic, no plates, right? How many things have I rattled off by simply walking in to a supermarket to grab some cat food, right? Now look, now this guy's still waiting backwards, no plates, or with lights on, as their attacks ramp up, right? Oh, there's another Keys car. I think he just arrived, probably, no plates. So, right, so you get the idea, right? That's simply walking in, and that's mellow compared to what it normally is. Okay, so this is a restaurant I go to a lot called Lemongrass Thai. You'll notice there are cars right here in patterns of 2s. Once again, in the 2s tactic. And yesterday, or last week, I went here, and you'll notice the rest of the parking lot is normal, right? So the entire lot is normal, except at this right there in that corner. And so last week I went there, and people showed up in clothing patterns and mimic patterns, the same old thing. Now I'm sort of doubling back to the Ralph's here because I just want to see if more and more people are showing up, right? Now we still got this guy, he's still waiting with the lights on. You know, like that black guy in the black car showed up right in front of the Ralph's. This was one of the cars without plates that I was mentioning. And look, there's another one right there, and there were like 4 more right there. If you really want to start going into patterns, we got 2 pickups, but that could be just random. I mean, that's a lot harder to expose. And now, but remember, what happens is not all these people are following me. They all migrate towards each other directed at me. For example, when you notice that all these pickup trucks are parked together as close as possible, it doesn't necessarily mean that they followed me. It just means that every person with a pickup, oh interesting, the guy in the yellow car, it just means that all people with pickup trucks are going to park next to each other and probably backwards next to each other. Why? Because if I am to leave my house, I'm going to see these patterns directed at me. Now, when did this pattern behavior, which had been people had always been told my entire life to do these things to me, but when did it really get bad? It got bad for me when Lorena Escobar asked me to do a photo shoot with her, my father's office manager, who was pretty much paid off to have me killed my entire life, who at 16 was an x-ray tech for my father, and then became his office manager. He promoted for some reason, which turned out her only job description was to stalk and hunt me no matter what state I lived in, and contacting people from place to place, saying if he ever walks into a liquor store, don't let him buy any alcohol. If he ever gets into hobbies like photography or playing pool, send women in there to try to set him up and frame him and things like this. Well, she asked me, I was getting into studio photography. I was learning. She asked me to do a shoot with her, and I did, like these cool green screen 3D animation backdrops. Just side note, I'm going back to Tommy's Burgers and to Casa de Tacos because I want to see what they'll do, because they know that I drove through the lot, right? And like you just saw, what happens when they go, oh, this is where Kevin is, so do these mass attacks and larger groups showing up in anger that I left my house. If you look at the parking lot right now, 30 minutes later, it actually, well, we got two cars right here in front backwards, right? So what does that mean? Well, it means they're told to do the same repetitive patterns. And once again, we got a car here with no plate. Okay, so anyways, so what I was saying was, Lorena Escobar, I went out of my way for this person, and of course, she asked me, like all these other situations, she came to me, she wanted me to do a photo shoot with her. I was learning. I did this cool 3D animation, like backdrop on green screen of like color patterns. And then she went around saying I somehow did something to her, as if my art somehow ruined her life, by her asking me to do it, right? Hey Kevin, will you do a photo shoot of me, and I want to see your work and this and that and blah blah blah, or do me a favor, Kevin. And I do, and then all of a sudden there's a worldwide group saying, you did all these horrible things to Lorena Escobar, which I can't even possibly fathom what I possibly could have done by just be the nicest person known to man and try to create some art and get practice to get into studio photography and make some money if I felt that I was good enough and people wanted my services, right? But in my life, there's no from here to there. Example, you're not allowed to learn your trade. You have to just be born with the skills and be the best person known to man. Well, that's not the way the life works. The way life works is if you want to be good at something, you have to practice and create a product or service based on experience so that you can sell it, and it has to be above and beyond or as good as everyone else's so that people are going to give you their money. But with my family, it's you're born, you better be the best photographer out there, never ask any questions, never learn, or whether that comes to IT or anything else, you're not allowed to associate with anyone, you're not allowed to go on internet forums and ask questions on these ever-changing technologies or changing and learning process, or there's a problem with you and people are going to go ballistic on you, right? Well, that doesn't make sense either, right? Anyways, so that's where they really ramped up the pattern tactics, is when Lorena Escobar saw the final product of the photo shoot with patterns in it, as if the artwork somehow ruined her life, right? Well, listen, if you don't want people doing photo shoots with you or creating artwork based on your photos, don't contact them to do the work. That's the moral of the story. That's the bottom line. Now I'm gonna head back to El Pollo Loco and see what the parking lot looks like around right in front of El Pollo Loco where everything was forward, and see if there's now groups of cars backwards, so I can show you this pattern of behavior. Oh, Kevin went here, follow him here and do these things to try to set him up and get reactions and remove him from society, trying to make him look like a violent paranoid schizo and get those reactions.
Hi,
Good.
thank you.
Oh, country guys. Oh, it's you guys.
Oh, you just giving it to me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Or whoever wants.
This one you didn't put it, did you put it in or no?
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
You just didn't put it in.
Oh yeah, my bad.
No, I'll just, I didn't know.
All you're gonna need is a small person. Alright.
Thank you. There you go. Thank you. Here's your share mix. Any ketchup mustard for you today, sir?
Yeah, both.
Okay. Have a good night.
Okay, so I'm back at El Pollo Loco. And oddly enough, they're all forwards. So, are things normalizing? I can't tell you. You know, it'd be nice after 18 years of finding out this is going on. But 18 years ago, they weren't as aggressive. You know, these tactics were a lot more subtle, right? They weren't doing the more aggressive things like cars backwards with worldwide support, or the Aubrey Fisher tapping with worldwide support, or the mass color groups. Well, I can't tell you about the mass color groups. They were, however, actually they were doing, before 29, they were doing the cars and twos and around my house. I just wasn't picking up on it, and when I looked back at my life, like, for example, when Mike Huntley said, "Kevin, let's buy a 1966 Lincoln Continental," hinting about bullet holes in JFK, because they had put the bullet hole in my father's car with the police, with LAPD, to pin and frame me. He kept, you know, he put his office by Lincoln Street, Santa Monica, our office. That's where their parents purchased the property. He wanted to buy the Lincoln Continentals, 1966 Lincoln Continentals, the same car that JFK was shot in, and then them parking identical 1966 Lincoln Continentals in front of my house, and switching from pairs of cars, identical cars like that. But the Lincoln Continental is a lot harder to, or a lot more obvious than two random identical Civics together, right? The Lincoln, a 1966 Lincoln Continental is extremely rare, especially restored, and there's two of them, just like the two fake police cars, or the one movie prop police car and the other outdated, or what do you call it, the retired police car parked in front of my house kitty corner, right, are like, what are the chances statistically, right, that not only every single day of my life for 18 years, or starting before that, there's pairs of identical cars, whether they're close or one in front of the other, and then you have 1966 Lincoln Continentals, two retired police cars, right? I mean, statistically, you have a higher chance of being struck by lightning like 100 times a week, right? I mean, these things can't happen without manipulation and people being told to do these things to coordinate these attacks. Okay, so I'm now leaving Sherman Way and Winnetka, where the El Pollo Loco was. I'm by the Pierce College, where tons of things were done to me, especially going to work at Golden State Sports Medical. Every time I stopped at this light, people were waiting for me with color patterns and all sorts of freaky tactics. Now I'm going to go to another Ralph's on Ventura and Winnetka, and see how they react by simply driving into a parking lot for a couple minutes. Going from one Ralph's to the other, and then I'll go to the Ralph's closest to my house, which they've had several porn stars follow me and things like this, getting mad if I even talk, smile, or more importantly, don't say a word to any of them. They'll say that I'm stalking porn stars and have done all these horrible things to porn stars if a porn star or model or whatever follows me to a supermarket and I don't talk to them. But what they really want is me to say anything, even simply hi, and then say I'm stalking them, following them, and won't leave them alone. Well, there's no basis for any of that unless they have something like video footage of me like following them from place to place and like yelling at them and threatening them and this and that over and over and over in repetition, right? Well, not only is that pretty much impossible, especially with the amount of them, you get the idea that they're simply trying to figure out ways to stop me from going into supermarkets or any other public place that exists, right? And they're using this psychology like, we're gonna follow you in mass groups from place to place, and if you don't like it here, you shouldn't go here, and you're crazy and obsessed. And that doesn't make any sense. The crazy and obsessed people are the people that spy on my social networks, telling me what I can and can't say, if I'm allowed to tell jokes, if I'm allowed to go to supermarkets, if I'm allowed to go to pool halls, if I'm allowed to go to coffee shops. Not the guy sitting there going, why is there worldwide groups hunting me now for 40 years? So here is, the Ralph's. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice is the Sensei Japanese grill here. Have spent a good 18 years, 17 years, every single time I've ever been there with mass attacks, cars parked backwards and twos by the door. If I go and get food, people coming in twos. Example, maybe two people come in separately with camouflage, then maybe two people wearing black pants and a purple shirt, then maybe four people with black pants and green shirts. The Hispanic guy whistling at me for years. With all these things are done at every restaurant, but these guys were really angry for me trying to eat food and stay alive. And so this shopping center has been extremely aggressive with these psychological terror tactics over the years. And while things are ramping down, which is a good thing, let's see what's going on, because normally right now I drive in this lot and you'd see tons of cars parked backwards with people with lights on. The majority of the lot is forwards, how it used to be before 2011, although I do see someone right there backwards with lights on. Right, one of the tactics. There's usually tons of no plates and people leaving cars overnight or for weeks directed at me. There's another Mustang backwards with no plate. Let's see, what else do we got? One of the tactics, they don't do it anymore, but these guys that always walk out like to get the carts here from Ralph's, one of their older tactics was, you see how they have that like a long necklace thing with a key on it or something? Like they'll see me and they'll spin it around their fingers to hint to me that like we're spinning you and we're trying to race your mind and kill you. This is actually extremely normal and not like all my other videos which I have where all these cars are backwards. There's another car right there with no plates. They have a plate. Oh, one of the tactics is to just sit there like that with their lights on towards the street, and they do it in large groups. But all in all, usually it's a million times worse. Like usually a good 40% of that lot, things are going on. So you have this person, which is most likely just sitting there looking stupid with their lights on. One no plater. Actually, and it says Webba too, W-E-B-B-A on the license plate, and I'm a web designer, so most likely, obviously the ideas of references are the schizo tactics. Someone parks their car or someone waits in their car that says Webba because I'm a web designer with their lights on, right? You get it, right? The little cryptic hidden messages. And then this guy seems to be waiting parked crooked, which is one of their tactics, right? And so that's two cars that seem to be pointed at the street waiting in kind of psychologically cryptic, obvious tactics, if that makes sense. While it is still subliminal and passive-aggressive, when it's directed at me, it's obvious because they're hinting about personal aspects of my life, right? And then, of course, it's nobody knows you, you're imagining it, right? Well, why are they doing that? You're being followed from place to place, you have people waiting for you everywhere you go, sending you hidden messages, and then every single person says, I don't know you, and every person you talk to, a good 80% worldwide, let's throw a number on it, all know you, and they hint that they know you cryptically, but they'll never admit it. Well, why are they doing it? To try to make me paranoid and schizo, and then get a violent reaction, working with the LAPD, police, NSA, FBI, government to rid me of the world. So you can see here, this is a wide-angle lens, but you can still see the two cars pointed towards the street, the girl with the Webba plate and the white pickup parked crooked, which he's probably doing their little, we're hinting that you're crooked, paranoid schizophrenia tactics to rid me of the world. Now, do you honestly believe that I've just simply drove to a few local areas, a few different cities, and 70%, 80% of the parking lots, well, let's say 30% of the cars in the parking lots, there's things being done to me. At each and every city I go to, do you really believe that the LAPD or any police officer or government official for that matter has no clue who I am and what's being done to my life? I mean, that's impossible. It's impossible to not know what's being done to my life. So now the question is, if the Topanga LAPD, with every LAPD person worldwide, every police officer worldwide out of LAPD jurisdiction, NSA, FBI, Cyber Division, large corporations like eBay, Facebook, Grubhub, whatever, in the billions, all know who I am. They don't know what's going on and being done to my life? Yeah, right, bullshit. That's impossible. So, what does that mean? Well, it means that while it started off as someone who wanted me dead at age 5, which started with my family, they seem to have convinced everyone worldwide, kind of like Adolf Hitler convinced the people in his regime, to help him kill the inferior race, right? According to him, right? And while that is very difficult to grasp, it is going on. None of these people are concerned that what they're doing to my life is wrong. I'll start this back up at Ralph's. Okay, we're now showing up, entering the Ralph's on Ventura Boulevard in Topanga. The first thing, there was a guy back there, looked like he was probably waiting for me with his lights on, but it's a crowded street, so you can't really know. Now this is one of the locations they just made up random lies that I'm masturbating in their bathroom, as well as 100,000 other lies. This corner here, they always park cars backwards like this, a lot of times in twos. This entire little strip right here, there's usually patterns of twos. There's a lot of times cars without plates in twos. Here's a car without plates, backwards. Right now, it's fairly normalized compared to what it usually is. Now here's, right, once again, another car without plates, and you can tell that he's taken the plate off, right? I mean, it's not even a dealer plate. He just took the plate off, right? In desperation. So in this, okay, so right here, here's another Porsche, no plate, right? So right in this, what, 10 yard, whatever that is, 20 yards, I'm not sure. There's 3 cars without plates, okay? I mean, how many cars without plates tonight in this simply going out, getting some food, right, here's another one, car without plate. How many cars, oh wait, and together. So here's a car without plates, and here's a car without plates. Together. How many, right, don't you think that's a little out of the norm here, right? And it's all directed at me. That's the biggest problem. Right, I think here's a white Corvette backwards. I think we just saw right back there another Corvette backwards. I'll loop around. Right, another car, no plates, and a Jeep Cherokee, a Kelly Hatch Jeep Cherokee, right, and another car without plates, and right here 3 cars backwards altogether. And if we cruise here, right, wait, another car without plates, and what's this? Another car without plates, okay, and let's go up here. We have another car without plates, and right here we have another car without plates. We have a old retired police car with lots of mud on it. Wait, 2 blue pickups together, 1 without plates. right? So he doesn't have plates. Okay, we have a car, people sitting in their car backwards waiting for me. We come back here. We have, wait, a Charger, no plates. Looks like another Charger by it. And then we have a guy waiting backwards with their lights on tactic. This is the car I was videoing before, no plates. So I just want to check and see if that was a second Corvette backwards. Right, but how many plates in this little corner in this parking lot? Was that 15, 20 cars without plates? Do you think that's a little out of the norm? Yeah. So okay, so here we have a black Corvette backwards, right? Okay, so black Corvette backwards, and a little close as they can, fairly close, a white Corvette backwards, right? In their patterns of twos tactics, right? And this person's still sitting there waiting for me with their lights on, no plates. Okay, that was just a couple rows, right? Okay, so now, and that's at the like Bull Tavern or something, where they had some guy try to thug and blackmail me. Oh wait, so here we have a Civic, no plates, and let's see what else. Okay, so here we got 3 cars together backwards. Okay, let's go up here towards Urban Plates. Ironically, Urban Plates, that's funny. And everything, oh, it's almost normal, but we got a Camry, no plates, right? Okay, how many cars in this one parking lot? Now, you see these red cars right here, the Jeep and the other car? Those are people parking cars in reds together, as close as they can, like in some of my other videos. So what's our count on cars without plates? Like 30, right? Here is a red, Tesla, right? No plates, right? No plates. And usually there's cars backwards, tons of cars backwards and twos here too. Here is another car, a Fiat, no plates, right? Okay, but all the cars most of them are forwards now, which is a little better. But still, they're working the no plates tactic as well as many other tactics. So usually right here, there's tons of cars without plates. There is a Civic, gray Civic here with a keys plate. Look at how this guy's parked like the white pickup at the other Ralph's. Now remember, this is actually a lot less aggressive than usual. We got 2 people waiting with their lights on, kitty corner, which might just be coincidental. But it's hard to say now that you've seen about 40 cars without plates in a small parking lot, which is unheard of, right? That's just one of these tactics. These tactics are in the thousands, literally. No joke. Literally in the thousands. Right? Worldwide, done to me all day and night until I'm dead and gone. Okay, we have, oh wait, look, together. This guy took off his plate in desperation. This guy, Bob Smith plate cover. Once again, we have an aggressively crooked car. So now we have the people waiting backwards with the lights on. That's one of the tactics. So here we go. He's sitting there. He's going to be there for an hour with lights on like that. He's going to be there for an hour with lights on. Right? This guy's getting out of his car, so he looks like he's just getting food. Right, and so you get the idea. Well, what's making all these people take their plates off, right, and put either dealer plates or plate covers? Now, a lot of times, let's say I come here and I walk in for 20-30 minutes, get food, they'll ramp up their attacks. For example, they'll ramp up their attacks. So maybe I walk in there. Oh wait, we got 2 pink and blacks. I'll walk in, I'll get food, I'll come out 30 minutes later, and this lot will be exponentially more and more cars showing up with people with these mental illness tactics, told to follow me to each and every location worldwide, ramping up the attacks until I'm dead and gone, right? And every single one of these people will say, I don't know Kevin Perlin, and he's imagining it. Now, this has been going on since 5 years old. Okay, right here, this is a 3rd gray Civic in this lot I've seen with no plates. Gray Civic, no plates. CarMax, no plates on this, whatever it is. Right? Just their car backwards with the other 100 million, but directed at me, obviously. Okay, so anyways, my family and these people that break from their convert, you're imagining it, they'll try to tell me that I've done this to myself, that I've made this worldwide groups hunt me and do these things to me, right? With worldwide support. I don't see how that's even possible, even if I actually did kill someone, which is one of we're trying to get false confessions from you, false coerced confessions from you. This is the Starbucks where they had security John Paul attack me in an anger and rage for the crime of wanting a copy of their defamation paper that they tried to blackmail me to sign. And so I was sitting there, and he basically tried to force me to sign paperwork, which I have on video, saying if you don't sign this paperwork you can't come here. And when I got pictures of it, he attacked me. Oh wait, okay, Jetta, right? No plates. Volt. No plates. We have some cars backwards. Do they have plates? Some of the crooked parking tactics. Okay, so now how many cars with no plates have I just listed? Now, oh, wait. Elantra, no plates. Okay, so now, normally what would happen now, how long have I been in this parking lot? 10 minutes? Normally you would see probably another 40 cars showing up by now with no plates, parking backwards in twos, people waiting with lights on, and they would make up every excuse known to man, this guy's crazy because he keeps driving through the parking lot, taking pictures, documenting the crimes, or he's a pervert, trying to get women's pictures, which is the stupidest argument I have ever heard. Like, Like, if I wanted pictures, if I wanted a perv... Oh, wait, we got... Okay, so now look. We got 2 Jeeps together, not a coincidence. Right? So now they're doing their... Or people are showing up in cars and 2s. If I wanted to perv on, like, women, I wouldn't be in a supermarket parking lot with not that great looking women. I'd probably be on, like, a porn site with hot women, right? So the argument generally of theirs doesn't make any sense, right? They just say whatever they need to say to get whatever they need to get to remove me from society, and their argument just changes on a daily basis of why it's okay to hunt me down. Okay, so if I were to put a number on the amount of license plates in this one parking lot alone, now also you'll notice there's 2 white cars together, which is one of their tactics. But of course, that one is a lot harder to prove because there's only so many car colors. Right? Oh, here's another one, Mission Hills. No plates. Guy waiting, looks like in a Audi. Girl probably just waiting for... Oh, Camaro, no plates. Right? Okay. There's a couple aisles I didn't go down. Like I said, normally mass groups show up as I get to each and every place, notified on their cell phones. Today, that's not so bad, which is good. I think, yeah, I got this charger, no plates earlier. Second charger. Because I'm sick of watching worldwide groups hunt me. Okay, wait. Okay, so now, right here, we got a white Audi, no plates, and a second white Audi, no plates, and their patterns of 2s. Right? Okay. Right? So, the identical cars in 2s, no plates. We got a security guard that's gonna get mad. Hey, you're committing a crime by documenting what these people are doing. Oh, is this a new car? I don't think I got this guy. So once again, no, I did. This is that Maserati, no plates. Okay, we're back to our black and white. White Corvette, black Corvette, backwards in 2s, patterns of 2s. I'm pretty sure I got this Integra, no plates. Yeah, I got this pickup, no plates. We got a security guard whistling at me because she doesn't want proof of the crime she's involved in, as if videoing a parking lot is somehow a crime, which it's not. Okay, we got a Mustang, no plates. We got the security trying to thug and muscle me, as if I've done something wrong. They're gonna say, make up some lame crime like it's illegal to take pictures out in public. Okay, we got 2 cars here backwards. I think there were 3 before. Right. Now, normally also what you would see is groups wearing the same colors show up. For example, you might see 10 girls with blue pants and pink shirts, right? Right, now think about that. If you're in a parking lot and you're videoing some things, let's say you're a videographer or a photographer or just an artist, and you're in a parking lot videoing some cars or something, do you really think that security is going to follow you around, harassing you, saying that you better do this, you better... No, they're not going to care, especially in some trivial parking lot like this, where it's insignificant to begin with, right? Okay. So, now that security is probably going to make up some lie how I tried to kill her or something, or raped a girl, or did this, because they don't want proof of these mass crimes against me. Okay, so now the thing to look for is, remember at the other Ralph's, how what was I going to say? Remember at the other Ralph's how people on the edge all parked with their lights pointing one direction, or pointed towards the street with all their lights on, right? Okay, something I've seen the police do too with them. And while this is Christmas colors, this red and black flannel there, that's also one of the tactics of mass groups coming out with those colors. Now, we also have a police officer who has shown up here at the Starbucks where they've attacked me and spent 17 years hunting me down with worldwide support. He doesn't have his lights on. But the cops on every location worldwide have supported these operations to have me killed. And this is one of the first Starbucks I started going to around 2000, and they spent a good 10 years on me before any type of reaction like telling someone what's going on, or, well, any type of reaction like whistling back or something like that, right? They spent a good 10 years stalking me with thousands of people per day before things really started to get bad for me, showing that it is clearly a murder operation with full police support. So imagine going to, so here's, looks like one of the cars sitting there waiting. So imagine going to a coffee shop for 10 years, being hunted by worldwide groups and local communities, doing absolutely nothing wrong, and getting sicker and sicker from murder operations. And then at 10 years, they write all these fabricated things on paperwork stating, oh, here's a new car. What is that? I can't see, but I don't think he has plates. Fabricating all these things that you've supposedly masturbated in the bathroom. You've, what else? You've somehow done something wrong to gay people because the employee is gay, trying to get rid of you. Also linking up to gay people they sent after me at the University of Colorado in the mid-90s, early 90s. And, what else? Oh, here's another car, another BMW, no plates. We're back to the black and yellow tactic. Notice she's just sitting on the street, and then another BMW, no plates, right? Okay, so imagine that. What else did they put? That people don't get along with me. Well, it's not my fault that for some reason there's a worldwide campaign trying to hunt me and kill me. How can I get along with those people? That's like saying Jews should get along with Adolf Hitler. Well, he's hunting them down, trying to kill them, right? That can't really happen because people generally don't get together and hunt you down and try to kill you. And you shouldn't have to. So we got another guy now. See how that guy's just sitting, waiting, pointing towards the street with the lights on? I don't know what these guys are. Hold on. Let's see. These guys are... Okay, so this guy is He's just pointed towards the street with the lights on. And now, oh, another guy, no plates, right? And now we have an Altima. Remember yesterday's video with the Altimas? We have a backwards Altima while everyone else is kind of forward. And so they use Altimas. Oh, no, wait, new car, I think. Actually, I think he was there. Right? Okay, so this is one single lot, just one. Now remember, this happens wherever I go. The longer I'm there, the more cars show up. I could hop in my car right now. I could drive to some city I've never been to. Let's say I go to a coffee shop in like Sylmar or something, right? Oh no, this guy does have plates, but whatever. Let's say I go to a coffee shop in Sylmar, and when I get there, all the cars might be forward. Oh wait, okay. Another Accord here, no plates, right? I go to Sylmar, and when I get to a coffee shop, all the cars are forwards. Within 15 minutes, you will see people come out of the coffee shop, go into their cars, turn them backwards, and then mass groups will start showing up with the same clothing colors and all these other terror operations directed at me. And when I leave, 40% of the lot will be backwards with no plates. People in the coffee shop will put one leg up on a chair if they see me. The employees will whistle at me over and over. These tactics in the thousands, so you can imagine, in 10 minutes time, let's say I'm provoked 100 times, right, in a public place. This goes on worldwide from stranger to stranger and never ends. Okay, so now we're back at the park. Let's see what happens. And by the way, down this street, one of the things is there's a guy with a BMW that parks it almost every night and leaves the same guy and leaves his lights on all night, every night, directed at me, no one in the car. Okay, so right now, everything looks fairly normal. And while I can't tell you yet, it appears that the pinks are coming out. That's one of their pink and blacks, and blue jeans with pink are one of their tactics, and it looks like they might be ramping up that tactic now. Why? Well, punishment for leaving your house. Okay, so right now there are no cars with lights on. And that's probably the most normal I've seen this street in a long time. Okay, so now I mentioned the BMW that always leaves his lights on the street. I can't tell, but this might be him. I got like archives of photos of proof that this guy does this every single night, right? He literally parks, the car lights are on for maybe 6 hours every single night, showing that it's not some person accidentally leaving his lights on. It is intentionally done. It is systematically done. It's clearly done for a reason, but he's not the only one, showing that I'm the target because all these things are directed at me and are all personal, right? Let's see, it looks like it's him. Okay, so this BMW, he's got, oh no, someone's in the back actually. But that's the guy. But he's actually, someone's in the back with a tablet right now. It looked like there was a cat up front. But there's auto shades on the front window. The lights are on. And there's nobody in the driver's seat, and usually he's not in it. Tonight he's in it. But he's in the back seat hiding. And if he's in the back seat, why are the lights on, right? Like if you were living out of your car, you would want the lights off, not on, right? So this BMW here, okay, I'm gonna try to drive slow so you can see the auto shades. And if you see, nobody's in the car. Nobody's at least in the driver's seat. But I thought I saw a tablet. Maybe it could have been a reflection. But I have like hundreds of pictures of that guy alone every single night. Parked there, doesn't matter. 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 2 a.m. You know, usually after like 10 p.m. or probably a little later. There he is. Intentionally leaving the lights on. So, surprisingly, if I were to come back in like an hour, or not even an hour, like 20 minutes, usually there'll be groups of people waiting in their cars with lights on after that, right? Showing a progression of, well, Kevin went towards the park or drove by the park, and because he did, we're not going to punish him to stop him from ever coming back for the crime of either driving by a park or sitting on a park bench, which aren't crimes. They're things that nobody could care less about, just like going to a Ralph's and buying food. But they're always going to make up some justification based on thin air that nobody would care about, right? Well, he went to the park and he looked at a girl wrong, therefore he can never go to this park or any other park worldwide. Well, no one would ever tell you that, right? You say if some girl's that paranoid, then he should not talk to her. Okay, so wait, we got a Prius here now, no plates. Now this street looks fairly normal, by the way. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't look like it looked before. And you'll notice there were cars backwards here. Now it's normal, right? That's all normal. Most of this street right now is all normal. Except these two reds. Oh, wait. These two red cars, which they put together. This Prius here has no plates. I'll come back for him because there's a guy behind me. And he's got his blinkers on, his hazards on for some reason. Right? Like, why does he have the hazards on? Right? So there's only two things right now on the street, which is a good thing, but extremely rare, right? In the last 18 years of trying to silence and exterminate Kevin Perlman. So I just want to establish the pattern. Notice these cars here are now all forwards. The ones they're trying to figure out ways to get me angry and go on their property. And of course, no plates on this Prius, right? So that's it. These two things here, which is beyond any level of rare. We do have a dog walker, but it's only one, and like I said before, usually they come out in mass groups in anger. For example, one of their arguments is, well, if you drive down to the end of this cul-de-sac, I've caused problems for them. Okay, well, how does that make any sense? If I drive down to the end of that street, turn around, wait for a parking spot, pick up a friend maybe in the Met, whatever, how have I done anything to them, right? Their arguments don't make any rational or logical sense based on anyone sane. The only way it makes sense is if you're like Charles Manson or something, right? Okay, so now we can go down to the other side of my street, on my other side of my complex. What do we have? We have the one Jeep Cherokee that's been here for ages, parked with about 15 other ones, all directed at me. Two red cars, which they probably wanted closer, and two white vans together. We have our Elantra or Genesis, which is always parked with the black one, which is always parked with the white one. Now we got a car hidden in there backwards. Oh, and he has no plates, right? So we got this backwards car directed at me. And then one of the cars there has no plates either, right? Let's see if we can, I can't see it, it's too difficult. But here's the vans, there's the red cars, and surprisingly that's it. Usually there's two black Mercedes. Well, here's one of the Mercedes. Usually there's another one with him. Some days there might be like 5 gray Accords all together, or some days they spread out mass Accords. We have another car right here, no plates, and or I don't know what kind of car it is. I'll come back. We'll get him on the way back. And then there used to be tons of Jeep Cherokees here. Oh, okay, wait. Another car. Laundries, no plates. Right? No plates. Ooh. Okay. Now, this is the gym I used to go to. It was World's Gym or Gold's Gym at one time, where I was run out of and then told I'm never allowed to go to any other gym worldwide, which is strange. And you'll notice the lot is completely empty. Now, normally, it is now Woodland Hills Athletic Club, whatever. Normally, during the days, there's the same types of patterns going in the lot, but normally at night, cars are left here like many other lots in these patterns directed at me. So when I go out, I'll see these cryptic psychological warfare tactics to torture and kill me. Today, just driving by, the entire lot is empty, showing a complete 180 in human behavior, all at once, all at the same time. Although you can see a car over there backwards, a red car parked backwards in the corner. Okay, so how if nothing's going on, how did that change of behavior happen, right? What changed these people's behavior instantly like that? Now remember that any person that comes into my life pretending they want to help me or are there for me, tell me stupid things like just ignore it, right? Especially the more aggressive things being done to me. Now I want you to imagine watching something like this be done to you all day and night, 24/7, while they get more and more aggressive and larger worldwide groups hunt you down to kill you or rid you of the world, and you're told to ignore it. How could you ignore that, right? I mean, that's like saying if someone if mass groups kept throwing little pebbles at your head all day and night, just ignore it. Just go out, live your life, have friends, relationships, make money, and ignore every person you see throwing a pebble at your head, right? You can't ignore it, and no one would tell you that you have to ignore it, right? Okay, so now I'm about to go home, but I want to do a quick check on the park and see if now people are waiting there with lights on, because like I told you before, normally what they do is somehow they know, hey, he drove by the park, someone saw me, so alert people to show up and do these things in anger. So right now, nobody at the park with their lights on, which is good. Oh, wait. This guy looked like he just turned his lights on when he saw me driving. Okay, so there you go, there's one. And he's pulling out. He's pulling out, look. Right? He was waiting for me. He was waiting for me with his lights off. He saw me in his rearview mirror. He turned his lights on, and then when I passed him, he pulled out to leave. Okay, but it was just one, and theoretically you could say, well, if it's just one, maybe it's just a coincidence or a random guy. But now also, this BMW, remember, I drove by here, 10-15 minutes ago? Here he is, lights still on, right? And no one in the driver's seat. And I'm not 100% sure if someone was in the passenger seat or not. It kind of looked like I thought I saw a tablet scrolling, but normally nobody's in it. And he just sits, and the car just gets parked there every single night with the lights on all night, directed at me. Okay, so hopefully I can get a good shot of the driver's seat. Okay, nobody in there, right? Or if they are, they're in the back seat or something. But the point is that, let's say they, like I said before, if he's in there, then why, like if he's living out of his car, why would he have those lights on? Okay, and now that I'm on my way home, just one last pass. First there's a black and whatever. see what's going on at the gas station here where they're so angry. Oh, okay, so now I want you to notice we have the police. Remember I said that the police hang out here every night. And we have cars backwards. We have the police. Another car without a plate, which is a Dodge. And the police that hang out here every night. We have a guy sitting pointing at Starbucks. Oh, two lifts. Two lifts, one staring at the Starbucks. Okay, and remember that I mentioned that the cops hang out every night. This is what my taxpayer dollars do. They pay the cops to hang out with these Persian guys, and when the Persian guys go, I don't like that Jew or his kind, they all get together, hunt down, and kill me worldwide. And then, of course, car backwards, one car in a lot backwards. Another pickup truck, kind of, well, a few cars backwards. And then, what they do is, well, instead of upholding the law, saying it's wrong to kill people, I'm going to help this Persian guy with Topanga Division LAPD hunt down and kill my kind, as they put it. Another guy, another white pickup backwards, one car in a lot. And so what they do is they say, instead of upholding the law, which my taxpayer dollars pay them to do, we're all going to get together and hunt down and kill Kevin Perlman because he's starting to get proof of the mass groups hunting me down, trying to kill me, right? Hence all the recent the 2013 arrests, as well as the 2017 arrests, and the fraudulent trials and the jury tampered juries, which is fairly easy to do now that you see that I have a worldwide conspiracy to have me killed, right? Hence, you get the idea. Okay, so I figure why not go through a TJIF parking lot again and see what's changed, and get that videoed. The same hammer, no plate hammer car. Still some cars backwards. I don't know what car there was before, but it was backwards as well. Two white cars backwards together. We have a black pickup there and a gray pickup there, which aren't really, it's hard to group those together. Okay, we have a no plate Sentra, blue Sentra. We have a gray car here backwards. The cop looks like he left. He made a quick stop, talking to his Persian friends. We have the guy's flannel here, which might just be coincidence. Red and black flannel, which is a Christmas color. We have a white car backwards here across from another white car backwards. We have a car without plates, looks like a Civic, white Civic, no plates, by a gray Eclipse, which I have a black one, very similar. Right here, of course, these two cars backwards together, right? So look, we have these two cars backwards together, and then we have these two cars backwards together. Oh, three cars with a fourth in the corner. And usually, like I said, it's a lot worse. Usually they're more aggressive. Probably more plates, more clothing colors, more everything. More cars with lights on, people waiting with cars and lights on. Some more aggressive, like people putting their feet up out the window, hinting about feet and things like this. Once again, here is our BMW, which is here every night like this. So one can assume. Oh wait, and look, I didn't even notice that. Wait, hold on. See the girl in black and white here? That's one of the clothing patterns. But look at the car in front of the BMW. Has no plates. Has keys plates. Right? No plates on the car in front of the BMW. Okay. Right? And so, I hope that kind of gives you a overview of the types of things. Now remember, when you're watching this, if you actually watch the whole thing, because it's long and it's boring, remember that this is done to me worldwide. If I go out to Hollywood, citywide groups get together doing these things to me all day and night, never ending. If I go to different states, different countries, you name it. Oh, he is in the car. He's in the car. He was in the back and he just got in the front seat. But normally I don't think he is in the car. If he is, why would he sleep in his car every night with his lights on? That doesn't make any sense. That's the stupidest thing I would ever heard of. But anyways, these things are done to me all day and night, 24/7. What you've seen on this video is nothing. Like normally, I go drive by this park, all the car lights are off, and 10-15 minutes later, you might see 6 cars show up, people waiting with lights on, and that'll go for the next several hours, and then it will ramp down until I go to the park again. And then this will happen in each and every place I go until something really bad happens to me, right? Because what's the reasoning behind gang stalking or gaslighting someone until they snap and something really bad happens? And if the police know what's going on, then they have ulterior motives and agendas with premeditated crimes, and this crime is called attempted murder or something on that par. And so why would the police not choose to stop it? What's the reason? Well, the police, there's only one reason why the police don't want it to stop, and that's because they're aiding and abetting a crime. And they don't want the ramifications of what happened up until 29 that they did to me, and then me turning 29 and saying something really freaky is going on, and them realizing that they destroyed my life because they couldn't set me up and get that reaction. Now this, I don't think these cars were here before. There's 3 white pickup trucks, right? And this is a cross. Remember, the guy was sitting here earlier. Wait, and now, okay, wait. This is new. Okay, now we got 2 gray Priuses, right? And one of those, no, they have plates, but 2 gray Priuses. I think there's a gray Prius in front of them. So 3 gray Priuses on the right. 3 pickups, white pickups on the left, and a car that saw me when I was driving by, turned on his lights, as you saw on video, and then sort of started to follow me and then go the different direction, showing that... Okay, my battery just died, but I wanted to make sure I get this for you. So I was saying, I drove past the park. Almost all the cars were fairly normal. I came back maybe an hour later, maybe a little longer. Guy's waiting for me in a car, turns the lights on right before I get up to him, sort of follows me and pulls out. Oh, here's another car with no plates, a gray Altima, no plates. Where he's parked, where he's sort of cryptically signaling to me, right? Because he wants me to look that way. He wants to get my attention. There are 3 white pickups on the left and 3 gray Priuses on the right. Right? Now that changed. That wasn't, I'm pretty sure that wasn't there before. But let's look. So we have 1 white pickup here. We have a gray pickup and a white pickup together. We have three white pickups together right here. And this is where the guy was parked. Where was he parked? In front of the 3 Priuses, or there are 2. I think there's 3. Gray Prius, gray and black Prius, gray and black Prius. Oh, and the other one's a fit. So 2, right? Okay, now remember, I forgot what I was gonna say. But anyways, you get the idea, right? So that changed. Those people got their cars and got them together, coordinated that psychological warfare attack with someone trying to trigger and alert me to be in a hypersensitive state to look, also known as gang stalking. Well, everyone says you're too sensitive and seeing things that aren't there, right? Now, one of the tactics is to get large groups to follow me around with solid black pants and solid gray shirts. So you can sort of link, okay, if they're using gray and black Priuses, that's obviously a hinting message with that color pattern. Now, oddly enough, whether this is related or not, can't tell you. There's a gray and black or gray car with black trim sitting here with his hazards on. Whether that's just a random car, I can't tell you. Probably is. But like I said before, if 7 out of 10 people on the planet are trying to make you mentally ill and kill you, you might think some of the other 3 are involved, because that's unheard of. There's no such thing. There also appears to be a Civic at the gas station with no plates. It's hard to see, but he doesn't look like he has plates. Might be wrong on that one. And then usually this street is filled up with cars and 2s as well. And it's not tonight. Okay. So now, oddly enough, they haven't pulled out any more cars on this street surrounding my place, which is unheard of and a good thing, but the guy in the Honda behind me waiting with his lights on, I've had problems with me trying to silence me. Saying I put stickers on his car and things like this, just the usual Terrence Scroggins types tactics. You know, Terrence back in 2013 working with psychotherapist Kareen Eshigan randomly ran up to me telling me that I had glued his mailbox shut, the reason he said it is they were trying to get reactions to use against me with therapist Kareen Eshigan because she didn't want me talking about what was being done to my life. She sided with his kind can't exist argument. Let's see. Here's another car, a Mercedes, with keys plates. No, it's not a Mercedes. It's a Honda Accord. I also just saw, as I'm pulling home, the dog walker who has threatened my life, like on video, like 6 times, has physically attacked me with his dog, working with his police-trained canine, working with the police. Oh, wait, look, now we have another car, white car, same color as that car, just pulled up, no plates, and it looks like a Tesla. And right, they're just turning around. Oh no, he's just gonna park. He's gonna park and he's gonna wait here. Right, so coming home, on my street, there's 2 cars at the same time with no plates, right? And there's the dog walker walking his police-trained canine, which he had attack me on cue to try to silence me from talking. And he didn't yell anything. Usually when I'm driving home and I see him walking, he screams something like faggot or this or that, or trying to set me up and get me to go after him. Now these people that pulled up in this Tesla, oh no, there's a girl that got out with a hood on, but she's not really going into her place or anything in the Met. So the question is, you know, why are they here? Since there's a car without a plate on, possibly to try to figure out ways, like everyone else, to turn me into a violent, paranoid schizo and get those reactions, right? So what I'll do is I'll sit here for a few minutes and see how long they're here and see if there's anything to get on video. Okay, now wait. It looks like another truck's pulling up and he is not going in. He's going to wait out here as well, right? And one of their tactics is they come out here and they wait and they just sort of watch me, and a lot of times they watch me with their lights on. This guy, maybe he's not. I can't tell. Like one of the things they do is if I order food, the food guy will come out, and I'll come out to get the food, and someone will be sitting in a car waiting with their lights on, right? That's one of their tactics. I can't tell what this truck is doing, but I think that's one of the people that always waits where this white Tesla is. If that's a Tesla, I can't really tell. and sitting there like waits and watches me. That's what he does. You'll notice that the people in the Tesla still have not gone back in their house, or like they're not dropping anyone off. They just pulled up here. And that normally wouldn't matter except for the part where they're pulling up with groups of cars without plates to try to trigger me. That's the problem, right? We're trying to create anger and rage and get those reactions. Now the black truck hasn't really parked. He looks like he parked in a spot just to wait around, just like these people. So it's kind of like, hey, you got two people that showed up and they're just sitting out in front of the place when I get home. And if it was random events that weren't in patterns, it wouldn't matter. But because they always do the things in twos, example, I come home, there's two cars with no plates, or two people show up doing this. And then the conversations, if you try to be nice to them, you get the idea that it's being done to provoke. So the guy in the truck turned off his lights, but he must be waiting in the truck. Well, I can't see very far. It appears that another white BMW is pulling in with no plates on into the Met complex right now. I wasn't really looking. I was cleaning up, organizing crap in my car. But when he got to the gate, it looked like he was pulling in no plates. So, technically, if you want to understand what's going on the street right now, as I'm getting home, two people pull up in this white Tesla with no plates or whatever it is. They're just sitting in their car with lights off waiting. And then this black pickup down there pulls up and he's sitting in the truck waiting, which isn't really the biggest deals of the world, but if it's directed at you for the sole purpose to try to make you look like a violent paranoid schizo, and things are always done in these freaky patterns, that's the problem. It's not necessarily, hey, someone's on your street waiting in their car, who cares? Nobody could care less. But if people are doing these things based around you to try to get reactions, that's the problem. Example, you go out to a park and you sit on a bench for 10 minutes, or no matter how long, it doesn't matter, and people come out parking their cars in twos and threes like you just saw, or 10 cars show up, people waiting with their lights on to signal to you that you supposedly did something wrong by going out living your life. That's where the problem is. And like I said, why are they doing it? They're doing it to passive-aggressively get reactions to remove me from society no matter what it takes. And these operations go on all day and night, 24/7, since 5 years old. And I had no clue they were always going on until 29, where I found out something was very wrong. Then I couldn't believe what I was seeing, met with, you don't tell anyone or we kill you, right? Now, right now, it appears that everything is sort of normalized, right? Like the streets have normalized, the attacks have gone down significantly. When my video the other day, you saw it was like 10 times as bad. And so it appears as it's getting better, right? But most likely tomorrow, they're going to ramp up their attacks significantly, because it always sort of ramps down and then they start up again in anger. Why are they angry? Well, they're angry because they didn't get what they wanted, and because whenever their attacks stop, my life starts to normalize and I go back to how I was at 29, and their entire argument is that I'm a crazy, violent, paranoid schizo, and I'm a new public nuisance to the community and every other community, and that I'm causing havoc and chaos to cover up what they're doing. So if there aren't mass attacks, then I'm back to my normal life, right? And if I'm back to my normal life, what does that show? It shows that everything is, and and not to sound like the movie The Matrix, cause and effect. Example, everything they're doing is manipulation and provoking, and if that doesn't occur, then I'm back to my normal life, how everyone else's is, right? And so they, in their minds, can't deal with the fact that they destroyed my life and launched worldwide campaigns to kill me, right? They don't want that truth coming to light. Hence, their endless crime spree and cover-up operations to just try to silence me or lock me away for what I know. They cannot deal with the fact that this is the biggest crime known to man against one person in the history of humanity, on scales unfathomable with NSA, FBI, worldwide support, and billions of government resources on one shy, quiet kid that did absolutely nothing wrong but turned 29 and found out that there's a worldwide extermination campaign, and the more I know or find out or talk, the more they want me dead and gone. Anyways, on that note, I will end this here, and this will give you an idea of the local area of what is done to me, and when things have ramped down and are not aggressive like before. Also, remember that this is worldwide. It's not just here. So things like moving don't solve the problem, because doesn't work. If you want to think it in terms of mathematical equations, 1 + 1 doesn't equal 564. If I'm being attacked everywhere in the world, then I just have to keep moving every day of my life, right? So moving one location doesn't solve the problem. You only solve the problem when you deal with the issue, and the issue is the situation of there's mass groups hunting me down, and that's unacceptable, and that's the problem. Anyways, I will leave it at there, and my next conversation is going to be about the psychology community, and the topic of someone being a danger to themselves or others, which is their entire leverage play for the last 40 years to try to remove me from society, using their only means with my family to go to the police and government to try to leverage themselves over me, saying what they need to say to get what they want, and not about anything truthful. Okay, so one of the things you'll notice is both these people have hoods on. Okay, so the one thing you might want to, the one thing I noticed, and I didn't get all of it on camera, is that those people waited for me to get out of my car. They both had hoods on. One was wearing the black and white color tactic. And when I got out of my car is when one of them went into the house. And the other guy left. But they waited. I waited there for about 20 minutes. And they did it at the same exact time, which is a common tactic to try to, once again, passive-aggressively provoke me into situations to remove me from society.